Hello and welcome back to Jackknives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jackknives. Today let's look at a horror sequel that apparently somebody asked for, Black Phone 2. "4 years after Blake Finney killed the grabber, his sister Gwen, who has become more religious over time, starts to experience dreams with dead children luring her and Blake to an old camp with a broken phone booth. This marks the return of the grabber, who wants revenge on Blake and Gwen. But with no physical body and an ability to attack them, they must find a way to get rid of him once and for all." So 3 years ago, I did a review of the original Black Phone, link in the description. Overall, I think my thoughts were somewhere around the realm of it was kind of middle of the road. Underwhelming, not amazing, had great concepts, but not great execution. Black Phone 2 takes the things that they did in the first movie, kind of tries to amplify them, and in some ways it does, because there are aspects of this that I really think are great. For instance, I feel that the brutality of the children's killing was actually really executed well. It's not very often you'll hear me say things like, a child killing on screen is a great thing, but it's the way it was filmed. It felt more gritty and raw, kind of similar how I felt about the movie Sinister, where the best parts of the movie were the found footage parts. This is the same aspect. But the problem is, apparently, they were so graphic that the filmmakers claim that they weren't allowed to show that much gore afterwards, which I think is a cop-out, and I think what happened was they put too much budget behind those scenes and they kind of blew what little money they had on those scenes. That's just my opinion as a person who watches enough horror films to know when someone's BSing you. This time the story pivots and focuses more on the sister, who did play an integral role sort of in the first one because she had unexplained psychic powers, because apparently the filmmakers were fans of Stephen King, I guess. There were things in the first movie. She prayed, but it was more out of fear than anything else. You know, when you're a little kid taught about religion, especially in the 70s, kind of see it as a last resort, like, oh, please, please, please. They took that little nugget from the first movie and amplified it to a whole other level to make that her one characteristic, that she's hyper religious. I'm sorry to say this, and I'm maybe overstepping some boundaries, but if you have the ability to see the dead, literally see the dead, see children get slaughtered, be given the gifts of sight that she has, and communicate with the dead, and be stalked by quite literally a demon, essentially, would you really be that hardcore religious? Because I don't think you would be. You know, maybe I'm overstepping, but I don't see that as a practical thing. Specifically for a young teenage girl in the 70s. Like, keep that frame in mind, and I'm like, doubt it. The brother should be the focus of the story, because, I mean, he was the focus of the first movie. And in fact, it was his actions that led to this whole revenge thing. A little bit of a spoiler here. His revenge is on the kids for him killing his own brother by getting caught at his house and finding the main kid in his basement. So he had to kill his brother, so he blames the kid for him killing his own brother. Hope that kind of cleared everything up. Problem with that whole line of a story nugget, and because mind you gotta remember, this is the main focal point of the movie, of the villain's reasoning. I've seen the Black Phone I think like twice, and I swear I didn't even remember this scene. I didn't realize we were supposed to remember such and such from that movie and bring that over to this movie to be a key central figure in this movie, because I'm like, huh? And then they also try to basically say that the mom also allegedly had powers. And also, little Easter egg here, a character from one of the VHS movies, it was from VHS 85, segment Dream Sleep, which I absolutely loved, who had the ability to see into a killer's POV as they did murders in his sleep. Apparently that kid is related to them, so I'm like, okay, so it is a genetic thing. Oh, okay, maybe you're all mutants. I don't know, but it's a little weird. And I know I'm kind of going on tangents here, but this isn't a proper like rant review because there are aspects of the film I actually did enjoy. I thought the visuals and dream sequences were actually done pretty well as the practical effects and seeing the kids in the mangled positions and things like that with the practical makeup effects was pretty cool. Plus, getting to see someone kind of spin around in a blood tornado was kind of cool. Somehow, it was okayed even though they couldn't show gore. I don't know. But what it does right is almost knocked down from the story being just boring and pretty bad. It's weird. When I saw the first movie, I thought the big issue I had with it was the concepts were good and that maybe they just didn't have the budget to execute them properly, or maybe it just had a better pacing issue. And here, it has better pacing, it has better budget, but the script is not well enough to make a sequel. This movie didn't need to be made, is what I'm saying. It's not awful, but it's not really great either. I mean, if you really wanted to see what happens after the first Black Phone movie, it's fine. Ethan Hawke does a great job. His masks are cool. Kind of a throwaway of how he came back, which that alone should have been like its own plot. Like that alone should have been a whole thing of like him trying to come back through him having to kill X amount of people or something. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But overall, it was just kind of okay. I think that's kind of what I was irritated about. It had good points and it had bad points, but overall, if the first one was middle of the road, this one's kind of a truck stop by the side of the road that you just kind of pass and go, oh yeah. So that's pretty much what I got for it. I give the Black Phone 2 out of 5. Have you seen the Black Phone 2? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to stab that subscribe button and slice that like button, and I'll see you next time.